MacBook Pro with Touch Bar, 13-inch, mid-2017, review. Complete with all the bells and whistles you would expect from a professional-grade Apple computer, the MacBook Pro is here, though it may not be what you remember. Nearly 2 years ago, Apple unleashed a redesign of its flagship laptop that would forever change the way we perceive it. It's thinner, at just over half an inch thick, and it also leverages the firepower of Thunderbolt 3, a single port that's capable of supporting nearly everything that came before it. Price and availability. At $1,299, £1,249, $1,899 you can fetch yourself a MacBook Pro minus the Touch Bar you would otherwise find in the configuration we were sent for review. Bear in mind that, as enticing as the cheapest MacBook Pro might seem, it has only 128 GB of solid-state storage inside, making it tough to recommend for users who plan on using it as their main computer. Of course, that MacBook Pro configuration lacks another key element, the OLED Touch Bar that replaces the function keys on the low-end models. If the Touch Bar, along with Touch ID verification, is on your must-have features list, you can expect to shell out no less than $1,799, £1,749, $2,699. That's a lot more than the presumably forthcoming entry-level MacBook is going to be. For $100 less in the US, however, you can get a Dell XPS 13 with double the RAM and storage of the $1,799 MacBook Pro we've reviewed here, and with a more capable Intel Core i7 CPU at that, not to mention a sharper 3100 by 1800 touchscreen as well as both Thunderbolt 3 and an SD card reader. Design. Luckily, Apple's pedigree does wonders for maintaining the MacBook Pro's shining reputation as an absolutely beautiful and sensible computing device. That said, not much, if anything, has changed about the MacBook Pro design year over year, and that's a-okay. Still available in Apple's standard space gray or silver colors, no rose gold yet, the MacBook Pro's unibody aluminum shell is as gorgeous as ever, giving off a subdued shine through the anodization. In terms of form factor, Apple maintains its achievement of cramming a 13-inch screen into an 11-inch frame a la the Dell XPS 13. But this laptop's bezels are still a bit larger. Speaking of screens, Apple's Retina display is as sharp and color-rich as ever, even more so with its new, professional-grade P3 color gamut. However, it's far from the sharpest out there, even among its strongest rivals, making its Retina claims tougher than ever to swallow. For instance, the XPS 13 can be configured with a 3200 by 1800 QHD touchscreen, easily outclassing the MacBook Pro in terms of pure sharpness. At any rate, the MacBook Pro is uniformly thinner than the XPS 13 by a hair, which starts from 0.6 inches and tapers off at 0.33 inches. The Surface laptop, meanwhile, is marginally thinner than both at just 0.57 inches. Touch Bar and Touch ID. While many have been quick to dismiss the Touch Bar since its introduction in last year's MacBook Pro model, we've come down on it with a bit more understanding. You see, while we admittedly didn't naturally come to use the Touch Bar much at all during the course of this review, its presence and potential are nevertheless noted. Advertisement. While still relegated to supporting core macOS functions and a few major third-party apps, like Adobe Suite, the Touch Bar is incredibly fast at adapting to the task at hand. The strongest example of this is simply the Touch Bar's built-in spell checker, which is constantly suggesting words no matter how fast of a typist you are. Though, having Siri as a button for easy, constant access is a major plus, given the wide control it has over macOS in comparison to other digital assistants. The second piece of the Touch Bar offering is, of course, Touch ID. While this is the second go-around for the technology, we're nevertheless happy that biometric login is finally available on an Apple laptop. The tool works just like it does on iPhone, and it's just as quick. Battery life. However, we can't say the Touch Bar, and the coprocessor beneath it, doesn't impact battery life. This MacBook Pro lasted for 6 hours and 37 minutes through our in-house battery test, looping 1080p video at 50% brightness and volume, with all backlighting and radios, but Wi-Fi, disabled, until it dies. That's nearly an hour short of how long last year's 13-inch MacBook Pro without the Touch Bar ran on the very same test, 7 hours and 24 minutes. Not mention well short of both the XPS 13 and Surface laptop. Plus, last year's model was actually conducted at 75% screen brightness. Between that fact and that the Kaby Lake Intel Core processor inside this year's laptop is generally believed to be more power efficient, we're left wondering why the two results aren't at least closer. Both of these points are rather strong tells that the touch bar's nearly always on display and its Go processor have a measurable impact on battery life.